Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. I am their West African correspondent, Edward Amara. You are highly welcome to this all important forum where we educate, we entertain, we inform, and we keep coming up with events that affect Africa and the world at large, things that we definitely have a toy on Africa, be it negative or positive. So today we are going to watch at Nigeria past election results. Then we are going to examine the possibility of the election result being overturned. So let's see. Our headlines basically is Peter Obi kicks off Nigeria election challenge. But can the results be overturned? That is a major challenge. Okay, all have been said and done. In Africa, of course, we are having different type of stories emanating out of Africa. Like, unfortunately, before coming into the Nigerian election, let's examine what is happening to Senegal. After Abdullah Wade left, we saw other people coming into power. But Macky Sall came in. They amended the constitution. When they amended the constitution, the state of the constitution, after amending the constitution, it was agreed that 7 years now should be like 7 years of contesting election for a presidential candidate to win. To stay into power in Nigeria. In Senegal, it should be 12 years. It's 5 years. They agreed, and Macky Sall times of election have definitely expired, and the people of what the people of Senegal were expecting the dude to honor his the presidential term, especially the amendment of the constitution. They were expecting him to actually honor that particular term and clearly step down. Unfortunately, we are seeing another Senegalese leader who said no. In fact, he has categorically stated that it is not unconstitutional for him to stand for a third time. Reason being, the first constitution was amended where the presidential term limit was 7. After an amendment to 5 years, it means the election for any contesting candidate now in Senegal, the president should actually spend 5 years in office instead of the original 7 years. So if he was actually elected on that 5 years, on the 7 years term, and during his term of office, he amended the constitution and he stated that a president should run for 5 years in office. In term of his term of office limit is 2 terms for 5 years. 7 years constitution was what? Abolished. The 5 years per term constitution came into power. So meaning he, Macky Sall, have the right to contest another election because he was not elected on the 5 years presidential period limit. Of course, the term limit is two terms, but per time is 5 years. Since he was not elected on that, what the dude is saying, then automatically he has the right to contest. He has the right to contest the presidential election. And the opposition are definitely crying foul. Of course, Senegalese know the type of leadership they want. Maybe it's one of the well-established West African countries, relative peace, although they have some kind of war in the Kasama region, but it's a kind of sustained war, a confined environment in the Kasama region. So it's not affecting the entire Senegalese people. Of course, the like of Gambia, that is very close to them, have suffered a lot of politicals, setbacks, transformation have taken place. Adama Barrow is back into power, left his own political party that brought him into power. After it was agreed that when this young man ruled for 3 years, let him step down, another person come in. The businessman refused, and he decided to form his own party and contested another election, which he automatically won, and today Adama Barrow is still leading time. We are seeing the like of Yaya Jammeh, Equatorial Guinea, who still have some amount of control over what happens into the Gambia, because he has a popular home base supporters over there who have been used to him, very used to the corridor of power for over 24 good years. But that was why he said, Makassar said, no. The constitution that brought me into power was on 7 years time presidential per term limit. Now I amended it to 5 years. And since that constitution has been amended, it was not that constitution that brought me into power. And what they normally do, they are so crafty. They will amend the constitution during their second term of office. So you cannot be in power since Abdullah Wade left. You cannot be in power throughout. Doesn't mean that Senegal no longer have other important people to rule the country. So these are some of the things. Then we are also seeing Facebook. Like Facebook, when it changed to Meta, they sack a lot of other people. So those Facebook staff who we are sacked in Kenya, they have definitely taken the institution to court. And also, Putin says that his ties with Africa is a priority for Moscow. That is why I don't know whether Putin wants to use Africa to be like a transit point. And now he's saying that, I don't know, because watching at his activities in Ukraine, the toll that it is taken on Africa is so humiliating. Our situation has been trended, and almost we are suffering from all sorts of economic consequences. Fear prices are high up. Then at the same time, basic, because fear is like basic commodity. Each time something happens with the fear, it affects Africans. And most of our basic commodities, especially rice, is definitely up. Of course, in Kenya and South Africa, human rights institutions are probing into the demonstration that took place yesterday there. Tear gas, we have been fired on different people in Kenya at the same time in South Africa. Like in Kenya, somebody lost his life, and the human rights institution are saying that, okay, let us probe into the system. But what with that actually coming? So when we see like Somalia, they are also saying that in Somaliland, drought may kill over 43,000 people. But unfortunately, there is nothing that the people of Somalia are doing, except they are engaged in war. So we are just seeing a lot of other development coming out of Africa. But as I say, we are definitely here to discuss the Nigeria general election. Peter Obi kicks off Nigeria presidential election challenge. But can the results be overturned? That is a major problem. So let's see what happens what really happened into the gun presidential election that was held on the 25th of February 2023 in Nigeria, West Africa, in a country which has over 200 million people, and at the same time with over 200 different tribes, and with two known religions, both Christians and Muslims, with a dominant tribe like the Hausas, the Fulanis, yeah, maybe somebody can say the Hausas and the Fulanis are the same thing, but they have the Hausas and they have the Fulanis who also sometimes identify themselves like the Hausas. Then they have the Igbos, they have the Yorubas. So all of these people are definitely into Nigeria, and they make a bulk number of this population. And Nigeria is divided into 36 states, and it is run on a presidential system of government. But they have the governors who rule the state. And these states are so powerful to understand that most of their governors will end up becoming president of the states or president of the country. And these governors tend to wield a lot of power in terms of economy. They control millions of dollars. And at the same time, they control the health. They are responsible for infrastructural development into their state. And also they are responsible for the education of their people into their state. So it's very important they are. And they rub shoulder with the international communities. And in Nigeria, places like Nigeria, when you watch when you watch like places like Kano State, you watch Lagos, Abuja, of course. The Lagos, of course, you have governor, but Abuja now is the federal capital. You don't say you do not need to have a governor over there. Rather, they have like state senators and other people who definitely control the states. And they conducted their election in the Nigeria election is actually based in tiers. The first into 5 tiers, or the 3-1, let's just say 3 major tiers, but it is divided into 5 sections. The first one, you see the presidential election be conducted, the senatorial election, that is from the entire country, then the state national assembly election, where you have representative like House of Representative in Liberia. If it's here in Sierra Leone, we see the House of Representative or Parliament, or they call it the legislature. So in Nigeria, the first elections were actually conducted for the president, which Bola Ahmed Tinubu arguably won on 37% basis. Then with a total amount of vote of 8,794,726 votes. That was why Bola Tinubu won, given 37% of the total vote. After 89 people collected their PVC, that is the personal voters register, but those actually who registered to vote were 93,000, 93 million. But 83 million end up to collect their PVCs. And out of those million, he won the election by 794,726 people, giving him around 37% of the vote. Then when you watch at Abubakar, who came second, he won the election 6 million. He came second by 6,984,522 votes. Then the third person, that was Peter Obi, had 6,101,523 votes. Then the new Nigeria Party, led by Rabiu Kwankwaso, who had 1,496,687 votes, giving 6.3% of the vote, or we can say 6%. Then the others, that is a combination of all are small, but maybe I don't want to use the word insignificant or significant parties, because they managed to get some amount of vote with 648,474 votes, which means 2%. So that was how this fellow came to being declared the president of Nigeria. The total voters turnout was 27%, the lowest since 1999, and the past election was 37%. So 10% drop from it. So let's see. Now, Peter Obi kicks off Nigeria election challenge, but can the results be overturned? That is the major problem. Arguably, according to them, the elections results we have been carefully rigged in favor of Bola Ahmed, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is what they are saying. So let's see. As I was saying, the total voters turnout after 89 million people collected their PVCs. The total voters turnout was 27%, making it the lowest since Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999, making it the lowest into the country, meaning they are developing voter apathy because of the nefarious, clandestine, and unscrupulous way politicians have been handling their affairs. So let's see. Bola won by 37%. Second was Atiku with 29%. Then third was Peter Obi with only 25%. Then the fourth was Rabiu Kwankwaso with 2%. When the results were, even prior to the declaration of the result, let it be noted that the opposition leaders cried foul, and they definitely declared that they are not going to accept the outcome of the results, especially if these results collated. We are not being directly delivered to the portal of INEC. That is the BVAS, the portal system that they said, where election result will be automatically transferred online. They will be collated and displayed on screen so that everybody should see it. As long as those results are not being collated from the portal system, they are not going to accept the outcome of the result. That was when INEC under Mr. Yakubu started declaring preliminary presidential results. That was when he started doing. They were so robust, they came out and they condemned everything and stated those things clearly. But let's see. Now, Atiku Abubakar declared or what described the results as a rape of democracy. That was what he said when the results were being announced. He said this is a rape of democracy. Then Peter Obi said Nigerians have been robbed of their victory. That was how he described the election result. And Nigerians have been robbed of their victory. However, INEC clearly stated that anybody who thinks and feels that he or she has been rigged or robbed of their victory based on the presidential result being declared, that person has the constitutional mandate and right to take the results to court or to seek the court system. And INEC on our own have all the pieces of evidence to substantiate their declaration of the result. They further went to say that they can admit and attest to the fact that there were some anomalies into the results being declared and into the process of the conduction of the election. However, those shortcomings, those challenges, those obstacles, we are not enough to qualify the disqualification of the result. With that, they have the constitutional mandate to declare the result. And it is INEC constitutional mandate to declare the result. Any political party who feels aggrieved has the constitutional right to take them to court. And the Constitution of Nigeria states that after the declaration of the presidential results, a political candidate or any other person, apart from being a presidential candidate, be it senatorial, be it or like those councillorship, be it National House of Assembly, be it the State Assembly, you have 21 days to take your petition to court, or else you are going to remain silent and the results are going to be stand as declared. So Peter Obi, from the 25th of February, when the elections were being conducted, I think maybe since some parts of the or some part of March, around midnight. I'm just forgetting the date that the result will have been declared. But we are declared midnight. Why declare result midnight? Maybe they have their own, maybe they could have been advised by security forces. So they have 21 days. And the 31st of March expires the 21 days. Today, the 21st of March, 10 days still. They still have 10 days. But Peter Obi kicks off Nigeria election challenge. My major headache with this thing now is that, especially with the type of or challenge that they want to make into the court, is this. Peter is claiming victory. Atiku is claiming victory. So let's assume that the results have been declared in favor of Peter or Atiku. If ever it will be so, won't either of them take the other to court? Because they will still feel aggrieved. It's the only result that all three presidential leading foreigners claim being victorious. Then one person has been declared, which of course the incumbent party. But the two opposition parties, all of them are claiming victory. So if both are victorious, I don't know who will definitely be declared the winner at the end of the day. So let's see. Then there are certain things that are leading, that will definitely lead to the declaration or to the nullification of the results. One, around 176,000 polling stations into Nigeria. 176,000 polling stations into Nigeria. These candidates need to provide substantial pieces of evidence, tangible results. When they say non-compliance, non-compliance in essence here into the electoral system means totally the due process was not followed. And it is only when the due process was not totally followed that the court now can declare the result. And this particular trial will not take place for now into the Supreme Court. It will take place into the Election Tribunal Court. But in case the judgment from the Election Tribunal Court will not be accepted, that is when the aggrieved party will decide, say now, then let me go to the Supreme Court. So it drags. So let's see something like 176,000 polling stations. And the collection centers is around 8,000 collection centers. So they need to have pieces of evidence. But luckily enough, the system was not manual, based on INEC presentation. It was not manual. It was an electronic portal system. And INEC said, after the declaration of the result, according to INEC, they are going to make all the portal results available. And based on past news, and also to the attestation, or from the attestation of both Peter and Atiku, INEC has given them the mandate to have access to the portal system for them to collate this electronic result that we have been offloaded. Maybe they can download them now, so that they can use this as a means of justification. And it was from that premise that even the election that should have been held on the 17th, on the 11th, was held on the 18th. That is the gubernatorial and state assembly election. And also for them to create a strong portal system and to install security in place. Unfortunately, it was the same story. So let's see. So after this, as I was saying, this is where they have to collate their pieces of evidence to substantiate them into court. But fortunately for them, those things that are now in the portal. So now they can use the portal system to extract them, and they should also have original copies, original hard copies of this result being signed, because there is a possibility that those things can easily be manipulated. They should also have original copies. That is why the law is stating. They should also have original copies of that particular result. So let's see. Then there should also be a written report from the tribunal in 180 days. From the tribunal, a written report in 180 days. A written report should be given from the tribunal in 180 days. In respect of the complaint being tabled against next declared candidate. So 180 days, 30 days for month. Also, so watch at this. 5 days, 3 times 5 could be 5 months. So we are saying here 6 months written report. That is when we are expecting the court system. You see how bureaucratic and protracted the system is? It is bureaucratic, it's protracted, and it creates obstacles for the system to be expedited for fast trials. That is what they are saying. So, but in this situation now, it's a separate case. Both Peter and Atiku are presenting case. So except now if they present the cases together, maybe they can study the cases for 180 days at the same time or simultaneously or concurrently. But if those cases cannot be, let's assume that Peter presented his today. Who knows when Atiku will present his, or he may decide not to. We don't know yet. But according to him, he will definitely. So it is up to the court to say, we are definitely going to do these things simultaneously, watching at this side by side to ensure that they verify these things up to the court system. So let's see. Will the petition prevent Bola being inaugurated? The answer is no. No. Bola Ahmed Tinubu will definitely be inaugurated on the 29th of May 2023. That is when Buhari will step down and give power to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So this man will be into power now when they are still studying the report. What a waste. The man will still be into power while they are studying the report. The man that they are intending to prevent coming into power will already be using his power while the court system is studying the report. Let's assume that Mr. President definitely will be given the constitutional mandate to act. He can even, within that period, change judges that will have the intention maybe to declare, maybe to be independent into their own system. Don't not underestimate the presidential system of government. Some of them can even be forced into earlier retirement. So these are some of the possible challenges that Mr. Obi may face. So so let's see. Another one, they say even if they are rigged, result will be challenged. Let's assume that even if the result now is being turned down, even if the result is being turned down, they will still be challenged in the Supreme Court. So it is not just like the tribunal saying, okay, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you were corruptly elected because of election rigging. And the non-compliance law or the non-compliance adopted by INEC actually affected the result and the process. Therefore, you are no longer president. A fresh election is going to be conducted. The Constitution is saying Bola Ahmed Tinubu has now the mandate to seek the attention of the Supreme Court. Who knows when the Supreme Court? It happened in 2003. Peter Obi, when he won Amara State gubernatorial election, you know what happened? It was given to the other candidate. It took him 3 good years. From 2003, it was only in 2006 that he was declared the winner of Amara State and installed as governor, while the then governor was dethroned. So have you seen how foolish their system is? And very interesting also. So let's see. So he will still have the power, the right to take, he will have the right to take the election, to seek a petition into the Supreme Court. And he will have the power to even sack some of those judges. They have their own ways of doing it. They can even send you into earlier retirement. They table corrupt cases against you, and you will definitely leave. So, what does the law say about transition of result? That was what we are saying. But this is very interesting. Some lawyers are now saying, INEC, what the issue was not a law. What the issue were guidelines towards the election. So it was not laws that we have violated. What we have violated, we are guidelines. And those guidelines, we are not deliberately violated. What are prevailing circumstances prevented them to use the Porter system. So, why Bola Ahmed Tinubu is being declared the winner, is enduring, dancing his buga. You are seeing Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar being outrageous, being left at a place of grievance. But now, lawyers are saying, the law is very tricky, that what was given by annex, we are guidelines, not laws. And if those guidelines we have violated, it is a state constitution that can interpret them. So nobody should base those things. They are flimsy excuses, that we are saying. So let's see. So when Peter Obi was actually asked on the pieces of evidence that he has to table into court in respect of him contesting against the election result being declared, he hinted and said the process and the outcome, we are not free and fair. But I think what you want to use is what the election result we had not been declared on the Porter system. And according to NEC clearly stated that any results that will not come from the Porter system are not going to be declared valid. That was what they said. Now, they violated their own laws, but still they qualified the violation by saying the Porter system was not working. There was high trafficking on the network system. So by and large, they could not use the Porter system. They resorted to doing the process manually. So they also have pieces of evidence. Peter is saying, like in Rivers State, there was chaotic scene, violence, bandits, armed robbers, ballot boxes we have been snatched away, voters we have been tortured, intimidated. Then even next staff arrived too late to conduct the election. Even some of them arrived 2 hours after the conduction of the election into other places. That was the time that they arrived with the materials to conduct those elections. And most of those places where elections we did not take place, result we have been declared. That is what they are saying. Imo State, they reported pieces of violence. Then Sokoto was the same thing. Of course, Lagos was the worst. That's what they are saying. So this result, according to them, we are well manipulated to ensure that Bola Ahmed Tinubu becomes Mr. President today. It's already been. Then let's see. To win the case, to win an election case into Nigeria, petition case into Nigeria, you must prove beyond reasonable doubt that it was deliberate, that the results or the election result or the elections result we have been deliberately rigged, and it affected the outcome like the non-compliance policy or the non-compliance law. These are where none of NEC laws we are observed. There was no party agent, no voters register was presented, there was ballot stuffing, there was no security, election did not take place. They have all what those things they highlighted. And party agents, we are not given a mandate to represent their various parties. NEC did not do the process publicly. So these are some of the non-compliant policies. All should be clearly. Then let's see. Non-compliance with the provision of the law. So they are saying that when it affects the outcome, then how is it? So far, they are going to declare the result. Then, well, let's see now. The difference between Atiku and Bola Ahmed Tinubu is almost 2 million voters. Whilst Peter Obi is beyond 700,000 more. Or in short here, Peter Obi is beyond like around 2,700,000 voters. Those are the amount that Bola Ahmed Tinubu led Peter Obi, who came third. Then like Atiku Abubakar, he led him around 2 million voters. And they are saying the amount of election result being rigged should be substantial. So in essence, yeah, if the amount of result being rigged could actually be around 2 million, then it's good. 2 million something, then it's good. Then maybe the court can see it. But let's see. A lot of presidential elections results have been petitioned in Nigeria. Even in way back 2003, when the current president, I'm not saying the man elected or the president elect, the current president, Muhammadu Buhari, contested against Olusegun Obasanjo. The chief won the election. Buhari took the case to the election tribunal. Do you know what they told him? You have to present 250,000 witnesses. That was the law then, but I think it has been amended. How can he provide 250,000 witnesses? Then how long will this trial be? Maybe it will be for over 5 or 6 years. When Mr. Man, the mandate will now be expired. Another person will even come into power. 250,000 witness to actually substantiate, to corroborate your witness or your pieces of evidence that will enable, if not qualify, the disqualification of this result. So the man left. So could this case be overturned? It's up to you. With all of this analysis, could this case be overturned? Well, maybe because they use the beavers, the portal system. And if the beavers can be taken into account, everything will definitely come into light, and then we can see what will be the general outcome. But as for now, Nigerians are still worried because what the tribunal will say and how will be the reaction of Peter and Atiku. I normally tell people election have 3 phases. The first stage is the before. The second stage is the during. The before is the campaign, the canvas time. That is the before. The second stage is during. That is during the election day. We all saw what happened. Manipulation, violence, torture, whatsoever. Then the third stage is the after. This is where we see the court system. And this stage can even be infected with a lot of demonstration. And it can even be worse. Because this is where you have people venting out their grievances physically, morally, and whatsoever. So we are praying. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we definitely be inaugurated on the 29th of May 2023. And the election petition being tabled in court against his candidacy will definitely not affect his inauguration. In fact, there was another thing that I failed to mention, but yet they have to come with it. According to Peter Obi, he said, in fact, Atiku Abubakar was not qualified to run for the presidential election, but INEC qualified him. So if he was not qualified to run for the presidential election and INEC qualified him, it means the process was rigged beforehand. But maybe he has to prove that beyond all reasonable doubt into court. And it is up to the legal-minded people to deliver their judgment. Thank you for listening. Good day.